be better off all alone. Be better off all alone. I'd be better off all alone. Think I'd be better off all alone. I'd be better off all alone.
Turning love to dust, 'cause we know it can't change. Feeling what we lost, but we still come back for more. Running out of time, but the hands are missing. It's an uphill climb. No more, no more. I see you hide. The stars aligned, and we had everything to heal us. No fear, no fight, as we decide to put the distance back between us. Take it away now. Take it away now. Are you letting this go? Take it away now. Take it away now. Are you letting this go? Are you letting this go? Are you letting this go? Wandering in its place, how I'm gonna spend my time searching open space. So we still come back for more, leaving it behind. Isn't always easy, but how hard we tried. No more, no more.
Alright everyone, welcome back. I'm Winter, and it is April 22nd of 2024. Thank you guys for being here so early on. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Today, we're playing StarCraft with commentary. Thank you, Xeno, Spirit Dragon, 36 months, 3 years. Glad you still enjoy. Since we last here, Jack, Hungry, Stanley. Glad you still enjoy. Today, we're gonna actually play the game. I know it sounds crazy. You can complain about whatever else, though. Don't worry, there's gonna be time for that. There's always time for that. Just depends on whether I feel like giving it the time of day. So, get your... This guy isn't actually platinum, is he? Hats on. And prepare to have your expectations lowered. Un momento, por favor. Gamer time. Oh, yes. Because people can't handle Abathur. So,
Yes, yes, yes. Just as I deserve.
Zerg. 125. So when it comes to Zerg, there's a lot of different mechanics that conspire to boost that APM up. Now, a lot of those mechanics are just building units. In fact, a lot of low-level players might be like, oh my god, that Zerg player had 200 APM. Well, if he threw it all into Lings, and he threw those Lings into siege tanks, he transferred a whole lot. I mean, Raynor has lost the ESL Cup to Clem, who had half his APM. Now, that's because Raynor was using a rapid-fire trick to get 1,000, and Clem only had 500. So those exact principles won't necessarily apply here. But, in general, it comes down to queen management. Alright. Making sure your queens... Ah, if we're in silver, we can lower it. I think 125, it seems very high compared to the others. But I do stand by them. We're going 120. Alright. Because I think what's most important is making sure we're doing everything. Alright? Not quickly, but we're not skipping things intentionally. And in the past, I feel like with the versions of Zerg, in this sort of challenge, I have intentionally skipped things just to deflate the APM. So, I don't like queens though. Well, thankfully there are 2 other valid races to pretend to play. Alright, so ZVZ, or ZVT, human vermin. Zerg versus Terran, 1 overlord across the map. So the overlords in general, first, second, and third. First one goes to their base, second one protects yours, third is at your third. So in this case, I'm getting a hatchery first. Just using the click there. Honestly, so I didn't actually realize for many years that you could just right click. And it's context dependent. In order to do a drone or just an army rally. So I would always hit G or Y, which are the hotkeys for those rally points. And I still do that sometimes. It isn't necessarily good or bad, but it's a lot easier to just right click. So, but it was several years before I realized, because I don't learn things quickly, I'm just stubborn, which is possibly a more important skill when it comes to StarCraft 2. Alright, so that second overlord is on this little pervert pillar. My third overlord is just going to hang out outside of my third. Gonna get 2 queens here. And we're pretty much not going to stop building queens. Jimmy? Jimmy, get off the phone. I'm building. We're gonna get 6 Zerglings. And I'm gonna keep the Overlord. So usually you'd move it over here, but I want to know if he's expanding. He's got a Reaper. So we're gonna keep the Overlord where maybe we can see units moving out. I'm not gonna worry too much about it there. But notice the Reaper on the minimap. So we know that's a thing. Just building more queens. No gases yet. We're not getting gases till 30 drones here. He's being very mean to me. We killed the Reaper. I'm gonna send my Zerglings across here. From here, the Overlords are mostly, like, I'm gonna put one out here. You don't want to put them too far out, because if he builds a Viking or a battle cruiser, it's likely he can pick them off. So, if he's looking for them. So usually just having 1 or 2. Speaking of, we're at 30 drones, so I'm getting 2 gases. And now I'm going to work my way up towards... Oh, what do we got here? Hellion. So he hasn't expanded. But it doesn't look like he has. So that could be a battle cruiser here. He's on 1 base, so we gotta really keep our options open. I have 2 options. Wow. Okay, that was a statement. Which I can go for maybe Overlord speed in order to scout exactly what he's doing. Or option 2. Well, I'm actually just gonna move this Overlord usually along this path. It's a little more likely to get the info. So we're going up to 40 drones here. Looking over in that top corner. Can get a Roach Warren, an Evo Chamber. The reason I'm building them there is so they don't get in the way.
Successful.
Because... Oh, it's Spore 20. You know, little alarm. But Spore 20 is generally against Terran especially the time to get at least 1 Spore. If he has a battle cruiser, or if he has Banshees, or even a Liberator or something, you're gonna need something. These are things like if you don't have a Spore Crawler, you're going to lose the game, which is not good. And now we're at 40-something drones. Let's move those Zerglings in over here. So we're gonna go for the Roach Hydra composition. It's an engineering bay. I'm gonna go ahead and just get Carapace upgrade to start. Get another Evo Chamber. It's a battle cruiser. So we're gonna, now that we know for sure it's a battle cruiser, because of course it's a battle cruiser, we can bring those queens back, which I've got on the 2 key. Every time I'm building a queen, especially if I have an extra queen, I just put it on the 2 key there. Make sure the queens get underneath here. And remember, just right click, A click, right click, A click, transfuse. And there we go. Get the Spire now. Hydras do not counter battle cruisers. They make them unhappy. Hydras cannot fly, is the main key point. Corruptors, with their bonus damage to massive, are the counter to battle cruisers. So we're just gonna sit here, and you can queue up those injects. All right, everyone, get in on the action. So what will happen for about the next 5... I've never learned the max. I think it's 10. For the next 10 or so injects, every time the larva pops off, new larva. Essentially, we put them in the oven, but they gotta cook individually. So I stacked up those injects, and there should be some extra in. Oh my god, so much money. We can do the same thing over here. Gonna build some more I have the money. Let's get a macro hatch. Get the creep spread outside of the bases. Just want it going down the main angles. Another risk here. I'm just gonna put a Zergling on patrol. Oh, battle cruiser. 4 queens are not actually gonna be enough to deal with that reliably. Oh, he's targeting the base. This is good for me. I'm building corruptors now. We can move the creep tumors. There's no real trick to it. You can control. So the only trick would be control clicking the tumors like that, and then using rapid fire to just... There you go. That's what you'll see. That's how Cyril sometimes spreads 15 creep tumors at one time. I actually really like going Carapace. Like, if I know for sure it's battle cruisers, armor works better than attack. Because battle cruisers attack so fast. But neither... Getting upgrades in general is fine. So this is all... Build some drones. I don't know where the battle cruiser went.
Mineral field depleted. Command unacceptable.
Can target the battle cruiser. He is trying to repair, but... Some ravens. And then we can use the caustic spray here. Yeah, just launch them all. So, it deals 7 damage per second, and then increases after 4 seconds to a lot of damage. And it does, it used to be that Terrans could lift and avoid it. And then set back down. Essentially do a quick push-up, because if you lift, you're vulnerable to the Corruptors. But thankfully that was fixed, at least for now. But from here, so if you really want to end the game, the answer is not just sending endless units at him. Well, in this case, it kind of is, to be fair. As he has essentially nothing. But I should have gotten road speed.
Swarm forces under attack.
How's that? A Banshee? Which is like a battle cruiser, except fancier. Oh, caustic spray. Pulled out the Ethernet cable. How to play Ling Bane? Pro tip? Don't.
Swarm forces under attack. Sequences spun. Swarm mutated.
This guy built 1 battle cruiser. It was 2 battle cruisers.
Forces under attack.
So, based on the fact his SCVs just stopped mining, that means he has no other bases. So, because otherwise they'd try to go mine from those bases. So that means, yeah. I mean, about 60% of the time, it's battlecruiser every time. Didn't quite expect that one-track mindset. But the problem is, well, you can't, as Zerg, hard counter battlecruisers without leaving yourself vulnerable to a wide array of other things. And that is why you can't just do like 1 base Spire or something. Because it's not always battlecruiser. And Corruptors do not counter Marines very well at all. Can you put on a console that has an APM meter? I could, but it's only created annoyances and distractions for me when people say stupid things. So I have removed it. Because, of course, the average is what we're looking at overall. It was 92 last game. I toned it down because I thought we were going to play Platinum, and I think 120 is about... It's still well below average for Zerg in Platinum, but it gets everything done. But it appears we are a bit lower than that, so I am going to try to tone it down to absolute bare bones, which means really only 1 lane of creep. This is another Terran. If you're a Silver Zerg, that's going to be over half of your games. So we're going to send that first Overlord towards another base. We're going to get hatchery first. It should have been on 17, actually. Second Overlord, I'm going to... So, this is just a bit of scouting. I'm going to look over here, and then we're going to shift-click onto the little pervert pillar. Every map has its own little pervert pillars, or at least locations where overlords can kind of hang out and get information without necessarily being hit by Marines. But, so the summary is sending only maybe 2 max overlords across. While I don't think getting supply blocked is a major concern for lower level players, I see a lot of just kind of... The overlords are a tool. They're a tool unique to Zerg. And in fact, they don't really have any other scouting info. Running a Zergling in and sniffing the supply depot is all well and good, but it isn't the most reliable information gathering tool. Alright, so we may do, I will also do a gas build. Alright, same thing here as the previous game. I'm gonna have the Overlord just barely in vision, so I'll see if a command center is either landed there or built. Now we just keep building queens. This Overlord can go over to this side. So even though maps differ, they're similar enough that there are some constants. And in this case, like where you would have your Overlords just covering for if he flies in. Of course, you're going to have to look at the mini-map at some point to take advantage of that. But usually you want to rally him from the eggs. Let's see what we got up here. That is a barracks. Alright. That is a starport. That is a production line. Okay. And he's probably going to build siege tanks. Okay. So, from here, what I'm going to do, we're going to practice maxing out. I got 34 drones there. So, against this specific army composition, like marine tank, queens are good, but they're not everything. Unlike against like battlecruiser or like heli and banshee, because marines and tanks just do so much damage, you usually need a little bit more in the way of units. So the target right now is to get 2 lanes of creep. Alright, so that means like 2 or 3 creep tumors down the front and the side. Essentially, I'm gonna want here, here, and here. And I wanted enough vision that, or enough creep that I'm at least 1 screen away from the base. Past that, it's not a huge deal. Like, yes, cool, creep spread is cool, but if you don't have, if you have 1,500 minerals and 700 gas in the bank, you're not really taking advantage of your creep spread, because you need, this is true, units in order to take advantage of it. Spore 20. A little late on it, but we're gonna get that lair. 4:30 is quite early for a lair, and since he's on 1 base, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up to 50 drones. All right, that's the number. Get the creep down the first lane, working on the second lane here. Get a carapace upgrade. Get the gases down here. Gonna send the Zergling. So, there are 2 likelihoods of what he's going to do. A lot of Zerg is just kind of predicting what he'll do and countering it before it gets there. And in this case, there are 2 options. It's either battlecruiser, because it's always battlecruiser, but when it's not battlecruiser, it's gonna be a big marine tank drop. He's just gonna drop like marines and tanks out. So, I'm going to about 50 drones, getting roach speed, but I gotta be very careful that I don't overdo it. Because sometimes, like, out of sight, out of mind, right? Where you don't really think about him for a while, and then he shows up like, oh, where did he get... So think about it. You've been building drones for several minutes, but he's been building army. So when he shows up with 3 minutes of army on your doorstep, and you show up with 1 minute of army, you can't be too upset if he wins the fight. So, gonna get the injects. I'm using camera locations, which I think they're most beneficial to Zerg, all races. I use them for all the races, but originally for Zerg to just flip around the bases. You do have to manually set them. I use the F keys. Yep. You see this Overlord? I might lose it, but I got that info there. Is he sieging up the tanks? Looks like he's about to. There he goes. So we're going to transfuse the roaches, and the queens especially, because the queens can take a pounding. I'm building more roaches during the fight here. The queens are not armored, so they don't take bonus damage from siege tanks. And because they're so, the technical term is dummy thick, the splash damage is not as effective because it can't hit as many units because the queen takes up such a large radius. In a good way! And that's why queens are such a solid, just baseline defense. They can heal. The more you have, the better they are because of transfuse and creep spread. They don't cost larva. They don't cost gas. They can hit air. They don't take bonus damage from either Hellions or siege tanks.
Unacceptable.
We're going, now we have 3 lanes of creep, which is not the top priority, but... So in order, inject, larva, building, or... Okay, inject, overlords, larva... That's not the way to put it. Upgrades, inject, overlords, larva. Alright, so, injecting is the most important. Making sure I have all that larva. Alright. And now am I supply blocked? Kinda close. We're gonna build a few overlords, control click, and hide them in the corner like that. And then, alright. Upgrades. We got upgrades on the way. We can get infestation pit and a hydra tank. Okay, now larva. Do I need roaches? Do I need drones? We can go up to 70 to 75 drones is your usual laking. And now, anything else left over? We have 2,300 minerals. We're gonna get 2 more bases. Notice how I didn't put creep in there? Because creep is if you find time without money while you've done everything else. Creep is good, and it's a very visible way of showing your progress. But a more visible way is your supply hitting 200 as soon as possible. So. Inject. Overlords. Good. Larva. Hydras. 16 hydras there. We're gonna hotkey them in with the roaches. Upgrades. 2-2. Hydra. I like Hydra range on defense. Hydra speed is really only if you're doing an early attack. Ideally, you want both eventually. But Hydra range, especially on defense, is a quicker upgrade, and it makes more sense because they're already pretty fast on creep. But usually you just queue up both. Like, let's be honest here. Alright, Hive is on the way. Inject. Overlords. Could use 3 or 4 more. And in fact, let's get a couple of overseers. Larva. We're going to manage the gas first. So larva includes hotkeying in all your bases like this. 2,900 minerals. All right. That's 3 macro hatches. For every 1,000 minerals you have that you can't spend, macro hatch. That's my philosophy. All right. Well, we're gonna attack. But his tanks are in front, which makes it a lot easier here. So we'll just A-click past. As we go back to inject. Overlords. Good. Upgrades. Did I queue them both up? Where's my Carapace upgrade? Oh, I just finished the hive. We're gonna inject here. And while we're here, we'll queue up some creep. Alright. Select all army now. Bring it all together. And the way to kill a Terran is, yes, even in the Silver League, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try 2 Vipers, okay? More Viper, let's be honest here. If 2 Vipers don't do anything, 4 Vipers aren't gonna do anything, 6 Vipers aren't gonna do anything, but they're gonna, besides, ruin your money. So. We've got all the main base. We're gonna transfer some of these drones as these bases mine out, usually around 10 to 12 minutes. I'll put it over here. I like Vipers on 3. So now we have, oh, convenient, some extra hatcheries to consume. So usually you'll see pros consume twice, and you'll see like a shift queue. That's because they only consume what works out to about 75 energy. So for 14 seconds, 3.5 energy per second. Wait, that's less than 75. What is this math? It's like 50 energy. So that's why you'll usually see pros shift queue the consume, is because it doesn't actually consume up to full. Oh yeah, plus natural regen, which is a little bit under 1 per second. It's like 0.7 or 8 a second. So I guess that works out to around 60 during a consume, which means 2 consumes will usually bring you to full. Alright, so before we fight, and I think so many Zergs screw this up, even I do all the time. Before we fight, we're getting everything done, alright? Like, you get caught in, you get drawn into a fight, and you don't realize it. We're gonna get the gas geysers, we're gonna get a spire, we're going to get a few more drones that I'm just gonna rally over there. We're also gonna set the drone rally. And now, to war! It's 0.38 a second. Yeah, I don't know anything. It's even less. So let's see. We're gonna attack, but now I do have to look at the fight this time. Blinding Cloud, Blinding Cloud. Let's pull the Vipers back. We'll come back in for 2 more Blinding Clouds. And then we can go back and consume. Where do you keep Vipers? Ideally as far away as possible, but I keep them on the 3 key, you see? On a separate key, especially if you have a ground army. So those 2 Vipers did more than another 70-80 supply of roaches. Because 4 Blinding Clouds can cover that entire area. This is a situation, like, I don't think you can play the game with just match. You really shouldn't as Mass Roach Hydra nowadays. Everyone is too good. Even our silver player here had enough tanks that if I had just A-moved, I probably would have won. Wow. But it would have been rough. So this, we gotta work our way through the, well, at least he's helping me out with the APM I get. The supply line there. Indeed. Yeah, I expected more platinum-esque, but still. So, inject, overlords, upgrades, larva. There's got to be a better acronym for that. Spawn. Now you can't say spawn because then if you say overlords afterwards, it sounds like one thing. Spawn overlord. No, doesn't work. Inject equal larva? No. Injecting is an action that creates larva.
It's about time.
Planting crops is not the same as harvesting crops. You'll see this in Manor Lords later. Thank you, XXAXX. Remember, if you subscribe, I get more money. Thank you, Defeater, for 83 months. XXAXX4. 77 months. We don't need acronyms. It's not hard to remember. It's 4 things. If you can't remember 4 things, go play Protoss. Which is a joke, because Protoss actually has to remember how to set up their base in every matchup differently, and on every map they need like a setup that's different. If you really want to just do one thing in every matchup and usually get away with it up to the higher leagues, you just play Terran. Terran also has the fallback of complaining about the other races in similar ways. Like, oh, I'm old and I can't defend against splash damage because my battle cruiser didn't do enough. And so on and so forth, so. But, yeah, the actual no-brain is of course Terran. Because you can just do 1 Rax expand into, like, siege tank in every matchup through diamond. Moving on. So ZVZ.
More minerals required.
I mean, yay! First Overlord. So the Overlords are different. Very important. The Overlords are different here. Consult this guide. We're getting 17, 17, 17. So the key to ZVZ is you always see what your opponent is doing, or at least the majority of it. Because your Overlords can be all but in their base. So, my first Overlord is going to go check if he expanded, and then hang out over here for this attack path. My second Overlord is going to hang out over here. So that way, there's literally no way Zerglings can get out of his base, or other units, without him conspicuously pushing away my Overlord. Or, well, just showing me. And that is the most important priority in the early game. The second most important priority, maybe the first, is remembering the minimap exists. That might be the hardest, but eventually.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
So he does have an expansion. We're going to get Zergling speed. There's also some gasless builds, but I think it's important to do some Zergling speed builds. I used to originally really hate Lingbane, so I always went roaches. This is like Wings of Liberty. In Wings of Liberty, Lingbane was even more important because the economies were so low and Lings can really exploit that.
Queen ready.
So I eventually learned how to Lingbane and my win rate shot up after really practicing it. So I think it's important to at least have that option and understand why. So these Zerglings are going to get in. Now we want to know, does he have gas? Does he have speed? He's mined 200 gas, but he has not researched Zergling speed. So we can tell because his spawning pool isn't having a seizure. Which is, as you can see, the key point. Alright, we're going to build now 8 Zerglings. So 4 sets, and then some more drones behind. Another queen. I'm gonna get 1 creep tumor here. So, very important, I'm building 1 more set of Zerglings. Why? Because this may very well trigger a counterattack, so... We're gonna get up to 36 drones and then build a lair. Before I send those Zerglings in. 36 drones, lair. Alright. Now, go to 40 drones. Roach Warren. Evo Chamber. So, if he does a Zergling all in, I can wall off with another Evo Chamber like this. And then the queens. I can put a queen on hold position if I need to. So, now we're going to get these gases and go up to exactly, doesn't have to be exact, but 44 drones is your full saturation on 2 base. So this is Ling speed into Roach speed timing is the idea. Alright, he's taking a third. I'm going to get +1 attack. Remember, inject. Overlords, I just built a couple. He does not have Zergling speed. We're going to get roach speed. More overlords.
Under attack.
We're going to take these gases we see here in his base. Alright, let's shift right click on the drones. I have 44 drones. I'm going to start building roaches here. Those are all roaches I just built there. So larva or inject. Oh no, I'm confusing myself now.
Your dedication will be
Overlords. One more. Upgrades. Good. Larva. Production. Larva production. Larva and production. Larva management. I'm gonna get that base. Inject. Overlords, good. Upgrades, good. Larva, managed. More roaches. And after this round of roaches, just gonna get one overseer with it. We can attack. Inject.
sufficient.
Overlords.
energy.
Let's get a couple. Send one of these out. Upgrades. Finishing. Larva. Managed. Inject. Overlords. Good. Upgrades.
Sequences.
+2 started.
Swarm.
Larva.
activated.
More roaches. Managed.
Swarm.
So now we do
forces
have to watch
under
and see if
attack.
he has roaches here. He does. He doesn't have speed, though. Does he have +1? He has +1 carapace. I have +1 attack, which is far superior. It does. So, weapon upgrades scale damage, whereas carapace upgrades are always +1 armor. I have enough roaches. Larva.
Not enough energy.
Overlords. Good.
Swarm forces
Drones.
under attack.
I could probably continue building roaches and just press through here. But I want to make sure. So if I have enough roaches now, I can always back off and still have more roaches, right? So I can build drones behind this. If it was a little closer, that would be relevant, because if I keep attacking, I'm going into his production, which makes it difficult, because obviously his rally point is closer, because I'm on top of his hatchery. So, inject. Overlords, not needed.
Insufficient energy.
Upgrades on the way. Larva, managed. Roaches.
Depleted.
And we still have 1,300 minerals. Macro hatch. Not so macro hatch. Inject. Well, I'm keeping the need for overlords down by losing my units.
Mineral cluster expended. Swarm forces under attack.
Overlord's good. Larva, managed. Roaches.
Mineral field exhausted.
Why the overseer? Because I feel safer with it.
Mineral
Inject.
mutation complete.
Overlords. Yep.
Sufficient energy.
We're gonna get... that looks like a 7 or so. And then larva in production. Hydra den.
Command
Infestation pit.
acceptable.
Carapace. Larva. Drones.
Overlords.
Attack. So the risk here is if he goes mutas at this stage. We're gonna allocate some micro time here. Right click, A click. Just make sure all those roaches can get real personal. No risk, game is won. Yeah, now that I think I'm winning the game, what I like to do is turn my brain off and not think anymore, so that way I don't learn anything else. I agree. Hey, we beat him. And by beat him, I mean less APM. So, it's all about kind of just rotating through. Zerg is... The hardest part is deciding during that larva phase. If you don't do everything else, if you don't inject, if you don't build overlords, if you don't get upgrades, it's not as important because you're missing the mark on everything else. But then you get down to the actual decision phase, which in my opinion is the hardest macro of any race in SC2. Protoss is second because you have to decide what to warp in, but you're still kind of limited. Whereas with Zerg, you have the very binary choice of, is this a drone or is it not, with a larva? And that is probably the hardest part, is, at least mentally, is drone, not drone. And then you have to decide, if not drone, then what? Alright, a Terran. So to start, first Overlord, this map does have a straight up pervert pillar to creep on them there, so. Second Overlord here, I'm going to, where do I usually like it here? Honestly, you can go towards the Watchtower one, but I usually prefer right here. So I'm gonna send it over here first, and then over to here, because I'm looking for proxy routes. All right. A lot of Terrans big fans of early forward barracks. So I'm going to do the same with this drone as well. I'm just going to look around, look towards the edge over there. Nope, nothing. A lot of extra minerals, but... Alright. And then get the spawning pool. And we're doing a no-gas build into roaches. Just the plan.
Not enough minerals.
Somewhat... I don't... It's not ironic, but... I don't like, especially when you're focusing at the lower levels, I don't like doing gas builds, because I think roaches work just fine. Like Roach Hydra into Viper. Whereas against Zerg, I think it's important to learn those Zergling builds at all, because they also have roaches, so you can get more advantages. Zerglings can be a waste of larva. Larva are more valuable than minerals. They could be a waste of larva if you don't know why you're building Zerglings. And then you kind of get in this vicious cycle of, I built Zerglings and they didn't work, so now I need to build more Zerglings. Like, and that sucks a lot of people in. If he doesn't raise that depot, the Overlord might get in, which is scary. He did expand here, though, so... So, he expanded quite early. The fact that that base is done, that base shouldn't be done, by the way. The Overlord should get there, and it should be building. If it was a 1-Rex expand. So I think he went command center first. Which means I can get away with just taking my third base. Alright. Gonna build another queen behind it. Gonna make sure I queue those up.
Newly birthed queen ready.
And he does have 3 depots, so I'll be honest. I could probably just build some gas, get a roach warren, and bust it down. But I'm gonna go for the safe macro route. In this case, we're gonna start a bit of creep spread. Overlords. 3 OVs. I'm gonna rally them out. Put one here. Shift click. Put one here. Shift click. Put one here. So the idea is you got your Banshee, your Medevac flying in. Battlecruiser will probably teleport, so that's not particularly relevant, but alright. Get the creep started there. 3 creep queens. 1 inject queen per base. Any upgrades? No. Larva. Alright, 34 drones. I'm actually just going to rally back to this base for a little bit there. And 2 creep tumors on the front lane, and now the third lane. we're gonna start that as well. Ladies! Oh my god. Inject. Now we're here, so get the gases. Creep lane. Larva. And now we're at 40 drones, so I'm gonna get gases 3 and 4. Oh, I missed 420. Alright, we're gonna get a couple creep tumors. So 2 creep tumors spread about twice as fast as 1 creep tumor. No, it's not exponential scaling. It maxes out at 2. But that's why you'll sometimes see players have, like, lanes of creep like that. So now that I have 40 drones and 3 bases, we're getting the roach warren.
Required.
Hello, ladies. Let's get some creep on the edge here. Start the lair. More overlords. Inject.
Command unacceptable.
And
Must be morphed on
creep. We're starting to add that in. Alright, inject.
Not
Overlords. We're good. Upgrades. +1 attack. Eco. We're gonna rally over to this base. And then drones with larva. The main base, fully saturated. We'll leave it there for now. Lair's about to complete. Gonna get roach speed and a hydralisk den and another evo. Okay. Inject.
insufficient energy.
Too tired. It happens. The overlords. Get a couple.
Depleted.
Larva. There's the battle cruisers. We'll get a spire. Gonna start some more spores. So, because of course it's battle cruisers here. So very important, I'm building drones. So this is gonna be one of those games where you have to fight it by surviving, essentially. Which is annoying, but... So that means you gotta keep building drones. And eventually get a spire, because hydras do not counter battle cruisers. So, good thing we had all those injects stacked up. This hatch is still injected because we queued so many up. Let's do the same thing here.
Field exhausted. Swarm has evolved.
So now that we know for sure it's battle cruisers, it's a bit much, but I'm gonna get 2 or 3 spores per base and 4 in the main. We want to go to 70 drones. Might be like, what if he attacks again? Well, we see he's sitting in his base. So, the battle cruiser, well, not anymore. But I'm gonna get that carapace upgrade. And now he's going to have at least those battle cruisers. I feel comfortable with essentially building up to like 15 to 20 corruptors. And then on the ground we can build roaches. Alright. Inject. Can repartition the drones. I can use these. Mine out this mineral wall. Now that we're here. I don't want to get too bogged down by creep spread, as creep spread isn't helping me against the battle cruisers very much. We're also going to get infestation pit, but we're going to put it not sitting at the edge of everything.
Insufficient.
Building some more corruptors.
Mineral field exhausted.
Gonna get shift quick 3 up there. More gas. Lots more gas. Let's go. Stack up some injects over there.
Swarm forces under attack.
Indeed. More battle cruiser. I'm just gonna expand I have the money. We're gonna spend the next few seconds. Take everything. Okay, not quite everything, but pretty close. Start the hive. Alright, inject. Just control click the queens there. Overlords, few extra. And then larva. That'll put me close to 20 corruptors. Can cancel that. Gonna get the creep out further. Got one. There's no actual holding them down except with fungal or neural parasite, which we may go for. Is not particularly reliable. They just kind of get to teleport wherever they want at any time. We're gonna build another stack of drones. Put it over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the burrow and overlord speed upgrades here so I can burrow my drones as well. So we may just end up going broodlords. I have so many corruptors. At some point, you just go broodlords. Take advantage of it. Get some more creep. Gonna go ahead, get the gases here. One spine. So spores are not to kill them, but they're deterrents and they distract. That's their most important purpose, because you're not gonna kill the BCs with spore crawlers, unfortunately. But 77 drones. Gonna get a greater spire and build a second spire as well. I'm down with double upgrades.
Mineral field depleted.
Putting 3 in each gas. We're actually gonna go take, that's a rich Vespine gas over there, so. Gonna hotkey in all but this hatch. I'm not hotkeying in this hatch because the rally point will probably be vulnerable. Can get a couple macro hatches as well.
Unacceptable.
Let's send a few drones over there. Making some more corruptors and some more roaches and enough overlords to max out here. We'll take a look around. We found them where they live. Where are you going? I don't know what I expected. Bring the queens! Well, he's trying to float home, but...
Swarm forces under attack.
So, now he's sending out the rest of the army. So you could actually heal your units by morphing them when they're damaged, and they'll pop out, whoa, and it's like a broodlord. And broodlords have 2 components. One is the initial broodling strike, which is affected by flyer upgrades. The second is the actual broodlings, which are affected by melee, ground, and carapace. But most of the damage is in the broodling strike. That's where the focus is. So usually that's more important. Getting melee upgrades for broodlings is cool, but they've been nerfed multiple times. They have less time, they have less HP. They're mostly there to muck things up, as opposed to really being a damage option. So we see where he is, but first we're gonna stack some injects. These are my creep queens down here. Let's use those. Got full energy when that queen doesn't have a bar, because I'm using damaged health bars. That means she's got full energy and she's ready to go. I'm gonna get 3-3. And, well, let's get those Brood Lords. And this will be a time to be working towards Vipers as well. Maybe send some of these down.
Forces under attack.
No touching. Oh my god. Alright. So, Brood Lords are actually quite weak on their own, despite how they feel. A lot of the time they benefit mostly from your opponent's units, like siege tanks, becoming a liability. We can move this up. Let's do some spray and pray action. Oh, he's got more battle cruisers. But we should be able to deal with them. So, I think we can just assume it's battle cruisers until proven not battle cruisers. So far, it's 100% battle cruisers. Wait, that's a lie. There was that one. It's 2/3 battle cruisers so far. I'm not sure. So I wish I had like a direct counter build to battle cruisers for you. But here's the thing. Unless you see the fusion core with an Overlord Scout, anything you do to directly counter battle cruisers leaves you more vulnerable to other sorts of attacks. Really, the only catch-all is queens, which are not great, but will physically buy you the time to get a Spire. At the end of the day, the queens are there to body block effectively by drawing the fire of the battle cruisers for your drones. Protoss. A new challenger approaches. Protoss. Wait, is he Zerg? Oh my god. I was so ready. He had a Protoss portrait. You gotta watch out. He's Zerg. Alright. So almost got me on that one. Little does he know. We're gonna do a gasless roach build this time. We did the Zergling speed, but I think it's a bit of a larger map. Can get away with it. We're gonna send down one of the drones here to build the 17 hatch. Do you always do drone overload drone? That is the most economical. Essentially, the second overlord, like, it's the most economical because you start with 50 minerals and you want to start. So the way larva works is you want to use it as soon as possible in order to get a new larva to use. This is before queen inject. Because any larva you don't use, especially once you get 3, is wasted potential time. It's essentially like if you finish a barracks and don't build a marine, you're not getting that time back. The same is true of the larvas. It's even worse, though, with the larvas, because there is a cap. Like, you can only have so many. And larvae are everything. They're not just marines or marauders. their drones, or roaches, or overlords. So, gonna get 4 lings. This is why queens are so valuable, yes. It's because they're not tied to larvae. In fact, they just create more. So that is a pull first. I'm going to build a spine crawler, but I'm still going to send the lings out. Remember, we have the overlords. I'll see anything come out of his base. We know.
Newly birthed queen.
I'm going to get 1 inject, and then I'm going to bring the queen down the ramp. In ZVZ, your queen placement is just as, if not more important than the other matchups. Because usually any aggression happens when you have so little economy. Who was going to be the one today to tell me that, Winter, how are you moving your units without a cursor? Somebody probably did. Really need a sticky note. He has a lair on the way. So we're just going to right shift click on some drones.
Birthed queen ready.
More drones. And now, Roach Warren and Evo Chamber. So the reason I have the cursor is because during casting, I find having the cursor just sitting on the screen a lot of the time just idle somewhere is very distracting. Whereas while playing, that's kind of the point. Like, maybe I'm the only one and it doesn't matter, but get the gas. Oh yeah. Don't zone out. Alright, this is actually a very important learning experience. Because there's a good chance he either goes for Nidus or Mutas. So we need more Ovies. He likely has significantly less economy than me. I'm gonna have this Overlord at the edge of my main. We're starting the lair. We're actually gonna get a bit of creep.
Command unacceptable.
I'm gonna float this Ovi in. We don't want to put the Ovies out too far because I think it may be Mutas.
Newly birthed queen ready.
I'm gonna send a single set of Zerglings out. And now, not quite Spore 20, but we're gonna go ahead. Infestation Pit.
Forces under attack.
Swarm hosts? Roaches? Anyways, we're building roaches, because the counter to roaches, the counter to a bad dude with roaches is a good dude. There's an even badder dude with more roaches. Alright. Double expand. Because whatever he's doing, it's not Mutus. So. And this is one of those. My counter is going to be get about 50 drones here. And then build a bunch of roaches. And I already have those 50 drones, by the way. So we're just injecting a few more Overlord. And as I finish +1 in speed, we're gonna just go.
Mineral field exhausted.
Rally across the map. Injects are popping off here, so I should have some more larvae to work with. There we are. And road speed and +1 finishing. I'm gonna start that +2 carapace right off the bat.
Mineral cluster expended. Evolution complete.
All right, let's get up in there.
Mineral field exhausted.
That's a lot of... Whoa! That's a... Whoa, whoa, whoa! The Ravagers are scary. We're gonna have to do some micro here. Does he have any upgrades? No. But he has enough units that I actually have to back off. So the advantage I have is just production. And Ravagers do not actually stack up very well. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put half the roaches over there, half the roaches over there. Put the queens down the middle. Get some more overlords so I don't get supply block.
Mineral quantity insufficient.
Move some of these around. I can also get Ravagers, which is a slippery slope, but it's important because Ravagers are not for killing units, they're for making him move. Okay? This is important. Ravagers do not kill things. Is your name Dark? Okay? No? Alright then. So, no, you're not killing units. They're essentially Zerg force fields. That will do... well, they're kind of like disruptors, where they're force fields until they hit. In which case... Oh, he has infestors as well. Let's get a few overseers. Here we are. Let's move some more units over here. The longer we wait, though, the more time I have to build up. And notice he has 0 upgrades. That's the most important part of this right now. The upgrades are very, very important. +2 is done. We're gonna put a wave of corrosive bile across them. Well. Okay. So, I do have rapid fire, as every self-respecting Zerg and other races do. So I think now is a good time to explain how rapid fire works. So rapid fire is very simply using your keyboard to do a mouse press. So the way this is done, you can use the rapid fire command in the Twitch chat if you want my 2-minute long explanation instead of the 1-minute one. You can do it in the game by going to choose AI or ability target. And most players using default hotkeys will have their secondary hotkey as C, which covers... well, you can rebind things to C, but this is like creep tumors, corrosive bile are the key ones for Zerg. This is how... So what happens then is, you know when you left click and you're like, corrosive bile there. It does so. But now, when I hold down the C key, it's issuing that left click effectively. So you just need to wave your cursor around. And at the repeat rate of your keyboard, it's issuing that left click. So if you go, and now even more complicated, if you go to Documents and StarCraft 2, then there should be a hotkeys folder. In that hotkeys folder, you can open it up. And if you want more rapid fire hotkeys, for example, well then, I know it looks confusing, but you can have target choose. It's actually listed differently in here, and then just put a comma with each one you want. Some players, I don't agree with this. I think it's dumb. But some people will put their entire keyboard as the rapid fire key. So that's up to you, but but that is in the documents. So that's how you get more than one key, is you use like Notepad++. I guess Notepad is fine. No GGs today. Yeah. That's good shit I never knew. There you go. I use the F and G keys. Like, for example, I have inject on F because I find it easier to hold shift and space and F at the same time. Because I have shift space as my, as you saw, town camera key. So that way you can do what is the equivalent of backspace or base camera injects, but without hitting the backspace key. But that is a bit more advanced. I don't think that's actually good to learn early because it creates bad habits. It's more of a late game, I desperately need to do something rather than something to rely on. They should be worrying about camera hotkeys. Yes, that is why I'm intentionally not doing the base camera injects, because it's much more important to realize why and when we're injecting as opposed to how to do it quickly just for the sake of it. A random player.
Your dedication.
Thank you, Crystal.
Interlocks.
There are dozens. So, against random, I'm still just gonna do hatch first. You can do gasless hatch first against everyone. It's not at the highest level. The reason why Zergling speed is common is because at the higher level, players can micro and not fuck up their build. Very simply. They can go Reapers or Adepts without messing up the rest of their build. Until at least higher Diamond, that is simply not true. And even if you think or disagree with that, well, you would be Masters if I was wrong about it. That's my strong opinion. As the rank roulette runner-up, okay, as someone who is better at judging who's a master player or not than anyone but one guy who's pretty good. May have heard of him. Cyril. That is a hallmark of essentially non-masters play. Is while you may think you're getting away with the micro, it's costing you. Alright, so Ghost River is a bit of a different map. You got so many interesting maps, which for Zerg is not so simply code for very annoying. But Sir. Okay. All right. Sir. That is the oldest. So that was, I remember in Wings of Liberty in Gold League, and I was Gold League for a time. Well, not as Zerg, maybe Platinum. But that was a legitimate, like, it would work like 1 out of 5 times. They'd just not notice. And back in the day, you wouldn't have Zerglings out as quick to necessarily counter it, so you might not even realize. Like, not even early. Just casually drone scouting into building a spine crawler. Ah, yes. The good old days. Where you look back and... Oh, okay. Nope. We're not looking back yet. He's doing a leg all in. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build Evo chambers around my spine here.
New subscriber detected.
When it's finishing...
Wow.
When it's finishing, I'll cancel at least one of the Evos. Looks like he's more focused on denying scouting, but we saw the links. He gave them away. It's very suspicious to do this at all. Alright, we're gonna put that queen back there. We're gonna put these queens on top of the ramp. Actually, no, not on top of the ramp, because I want them in range of the spine here. Hold position, inject, bring a queen down, start mining gas. And now we're just... Oh, he doesn't have speed. It's very suspicious to be sending a queen out to mess with the Overlord that early. because your first queen should be injecting. Like, going anywhere off the creep is severely, well, not severely, but is slowing down your build in a mirror matchup. So, banelings on the way, which means we need more queens. I'm gonna build a roach warren as a semi-wall here. Same thing.
Quantity insufficient.
We're gonna build an Evo chamber just to make things more difficult. Maybe once we reach the preset kill counter of that spine crawler. And then after this, we're gonna build a lair. More drones there. And +1 ranged attack. So we actually decided to back off, which was probably a smart move. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just go for it, but... Gonna get 1 creep tumor. And then injects. Do I need overlords? I don't think so. He has enough lings still nearby to be a threat. But with his overlord speed? He could do a drop. These are roaches here. That's what we've decided on. Because he doesn't have a third. We can see it. On the minimap, you can see everything he's up to.
Swarm forces under attack.
Let's gonna go ahead and use mineral walk there. Zergling drop. Run away! That's a cute move. Can I get roach speed? Send these guys back. All right. The overlord speed kind of gives away, well, wants to do something with overlords. Getting some more overlords myself. Inject. Should always have that bar. If possible. If you still have queens, you should have that bar above your hatchery. And this should queue them up for several minutes.
Mineral field depleted. Sequences spun. Swarm mutated.
Alright. +2 attack. Looks like he's got a few more lings, but we can start sending these out speed. Finishing soon. These breadcrumb zerglings. Is he gonna burrow them? Either way, we're gonna go with the
Swarm has
just
evolved.
go fucking kill them build.
Mineral field exhausted. Mineral field depleted.
Alright then. So, 2 options. Oh, he's going lurkers. Alright, let's do the simpler one, which is just build a bunch of ravagers.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
We can use that fancy rapid fire. Inject. Overlords.
Drones under attack. Command unacceptable.
He's probably gonna have lurkers. Let's see. He was building 6 swarm hosts, which is certainly a choice. He did have a lurker den, but he also built swarm hosts, which is not ideal. So he was all over the place there. He had over 100. He had over 100. He broke the limit. That's cheating. But yeah, my limit is for platinum. I'm trying to keep it closer to 100 for gold. Which is partially expedited by the fact that so far not a single player has tried to really take a third base, so. Which, I mean, Zerg is scary. They're out there. I'm in here. Feels safe. So, that is the general mindset. And that's why it's important to not just try to figure out how to kill them now, but maybe think about 2-3 minutes down the line. Bronze barcode. This is a player I kind of want to just take the gloves off and immediately slaughter him, because it's clearly not going to be a gold player. Gold players, true gold players, don't even really understand why barcodes exist. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt, though. Also, I think one of the biggest tells that someone is not on their first account is the portrait. Like, it's a simple thing. It's like, well, he just didn't change the portrait. Okay, come on. You play a new game, you mess around with all the settings. Like, the most common tell is like the medic portrait or something. That's like 50 team game wins. Or the Marauder one, stuff like that. But I did. Like, there weren't even that many portraits back in the day. But like, the first thing, you get a new portrait, try that out. It's something, it's some customization, so.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Thank you, Hitchcock.
Not enough minerals.
So, we don't know what race he is, so I'm putting the first overlord. The first overlord always goes towards the natural. Doesn't matter what we're up against. Second overlord can also get sent across, but I can just bring it back if he's not Zerg. Technically, like, I think it's fine, but I prefer to only have one, maybe two on the other side, because past that, it's really just a liability, where if they get killed, then you have to replace them, and now you're responsible for these. It's a whole deal. And now I gotta be responsible for all these overlords. He's Zerg. Alright, we can adjust slightly. Not that there needs to be much adjustment. Worst case scenario, or best case, I guess, is he's Zerg. So I usually set my overlords up in a way I would if he's Zerg, and then just adapt if he's not. Because it's most important to have them in position for ZVZ early. So I can see, is he expanding? And is he sending a bunch of Zerglings at me? He is expanding. TBD on the Zerglings. So now we're rallying here. They're gonna get up to 30 drones. Gonna make another overlord on 30. Alright. It's not a personal attack to say 30. Alright, we're all getting there. So,
Newly birthed queen ready.
do up some more queens.
Successful.
Come down and deal with it. Make another few drones. Gonna scout.
Attack.
Ooh, a lot of Zerglings. He has Zergling speed on the way. Alright, important to note there. So we're gonna fall back a bit with this OV. This one is still in position to see any Zerglings coming out there, but at the same time, I want to make sure that it doesn't just get poked away by overlords. We're gonna get a creep tumor, but not at the wall in, because you don't want to block your own wall. Alright, that would be bad. It's not ideal. I've done it too many times. I still do it. So any of these things on all these tips for each race, is like if you really practice and you play a lot of games, you'll only fuck it up like 10% of the time instead of
Your dedication
half the time.
will be rewarded.
So that's called improvement. All right. You'll never get that to 0 though. It's not how it works. Get some more gas. We have 40 drones on the dot. Let's go. 3 and 4. Gonna get up to 44 drones now. Which, once again, not important to be the exact number, but just something to remember.
Morphed on Queen.
In the 40s. Because that way you have full saturation on 2 bases. Gonna just keep building some queens here. A few more overlords. Gonna send these out. This is how you pre-split the OV. Shift click, shift click, shift click. Don't have to, but speaking of, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then bring it back. There you go. Now we're gonna go get that 3rd base because
Unacceptable.
I have the money here. And now, inject. Do I need overlords? No. Let's inject this base. Ladies, please.
Queen birth successful.
Bit of creep. And then, that's 8 roaches right there.
Insufficient energy. Direct assault.
And now, overlord speed. And I'm sending this guy in. Let's put this overlord in the back corner, because now there's a lot of options on the table. I actually feel like we need a Hydra Den, because mutas are definitely an option. I'm holding off spending my larva, because I want to know. He's got a layer done. We're going to send in a changeling. Those are roaches. I can tell because of the way they are. Isn't that neat? Looks like he's doing something very similar. Almost like a mirror of some sort. Right, he's got hydras on the way. Let's go hide in the corner. I'm gonna put the overlord overseer in oversight mode, and this is entirely to keep it from getting messed up by select all army. So, how many drones do we have? We have 46. I want 60. So we're gonna build all these. He's coming across with the roaches. That's enough of the drones for now then. But I have too much money. Well then build some more hatcheries. Alright, upgrades on the way. We'll see if he decides to continue attacking. I'm gonna queue up those Hydra upgrades. We are gonna go Roach Hydra. In fact, he has it. So this scenario, we both have similar unit compositions, and I don't have a clear-cut advantage. So what I'm gonna do is just go for Hive. We're gonna build some Hydras here after I build more Overlords. How many drones? The number we're looking for is 65 to 70. That's for 3 going on 4 bases. And then we're gonna do about half and half Roach Hydra. Get some creep out of these queens. And then we're gonna queue up some injects. I'm gonna scout with 1 roach on each side. Shift click. Get my hive started. And with it, my lurker den.
Swarm forces under attack.
Sir, those are mine. You can't. No, those are mine.
Unacceptable. Mineral fields
The
depleted.
bait ovies. So he doesn't have a 4th base. How many drones? We're gonna get 10 more. Which is line and a half. And I like to do this.
Mineral cluster.
Shift click off 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now they'll be in the gas. That'll be their life. Alright.
Swarm forces under attack.
We're gonna get more Hydras now. I just queued them in. Makes me feel fancy when I do that with the larva. 100% would recommend. Just for aesthetic reasons. So we're gonna get a bit of creep outside. I'm not too focused on it. It's not a big deal in ZVZ. In fact, it can be a liability. It's usually a benefit though. So we're gonna get lurker range and immediately 5. So the number about 10 lurkers. If you get too many lurkers, they can become a liability too.
New
But
subscriber detected.
we're gonna get a few more drones. Control click, send them over there. And now it's inject time. Dun, 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 dun. And spend that money. Hatch. Hatch.
Unacceptable.
Hatch. Believe it or not, hatch. Gonna get these gases. A few more ovies. And you know what I neglected? Upgrades. Well, I mean, I do have +2, but
Mineral field exhausted. It's about time.
so I want to have 50 larvae. All right, we're gonna have 50 larvae because we're gonna be rich. All right, we're gonna be rich, like I am in subscribers, right, guys? Likes and subscribes. We have 212 viewers on YouTube and 37 likes. Get your priorities in order. Thank you, very cozy. Road speed? Did I forget road speed? No, I didn't forget road speed. I'm just not moving. They're sedentary roaches. All right, more hydras. 4 out of 3 on gas. Ah, good point. All right, so we're maxed out. And +3, is there anything else? Not really. I mean, you can get a spire and all that, but at this point, you don't want to spend too much more gas. There's the army. So I usually just hotkey them together and control click the lurkers. And you can, of course, well, but you could also hotkey them separately or on 2 different groups. I usually just prefer the control click. So we use Microbial Shroud, which if that was Dark Swarm, it would be great. But it isn't Dark Swarm. It is... It looks like Dark Swarm, but it isn't. It isn't Dark Swarm. Important to point out there. I think... Yeah. We're gonna make some more lurkers.
Swarm mutated.
Those are changelings. You can tell by the way they are. Fun fact, you can just right-click on changelings. You don't have to A-click, which I found when killing my own zealots several times before. It was like 5 years ago I learned that. Not even like 2 years. No, it was like well into Legacy of the Void I figured that out. Which is a bit embarrassing. Alright, so we have a bunch of lurkers, and he didn't seem particularly inclined to directly deal with them here, so... But first, let's build units. There we go. Now we're maxed out on roaches, because I have plenty of lurkers and a lot of hydras, so...
Hive cluster under
Are we base trading? So he also has lurkers. So begun the lurker wars have. Hydras are actually okay against them. So I just built a whole bunch. And this is why we bank up all that larva. Look at that. Boom. 200 supply again. There's no way this is going to be under 125 APM. But the point is we're getting 50 larvae. Alright, you want 50 larvae in the bank. That's the number. You can't get 100. I've seen Cyril get 100. It's insane. It's madness. Dark usually doesn't have 100. He's actually pretty lazy about injecting in the late game. But 50.
Mineral clusters expend attack.
Our goal, so you can count up injected hatcheries as 3 more larvae apiece, but here we go, 43. We're working on it. If you have 75 drones and 50 larvae, you can build whatever you want. What you do with that? Well, you can make so many new and fresh mistakes. So I'm gonna show the base camera injects and how they work, and also why you shouldn't use them. So, how does it work? I'm holding the inject key over the base, right? F in this case. So I have a base camera, which is control space, or shift space rather, sorry. Wait, why is it not working right? Fuck.
Swarm forces under attack.
One moment. Where's my shift space? I have slightly different... Yeah, there we are. Oh, shift space.
Mineral field depleted.
So, base camera on shift space, which is what I like it on. So, shift space will rotate for your base. I'm not sure the methodology for picking which base. If I hold the inject key, and I...
Hive cluster under direct assault.
So, what it's doing right now is shift queuing up my queens to inject all of the bases. The problem with this is they don't respect whether a base is already injected or whether that base is halfway across the map. All right? So while it can be a quick way to get any injects, there are some clear potential weaknesses with it. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if the base is hotkeyed or not. If it exists, they will try to inject it in that case. So.
Mineral field exhausted. Swarm forces.
At that point, which is why you're usually... I can feel the lurkers. Can you feel the lurkers? Smells like lurkers. I don't trust that they're not under there. I bet this guy's clever enough to do the whole position lurkers. Feels like that. I have 84 larvae, so that should be enough. So this is a game that could be lost with the... If I am unaware. There's changelings on my roaches right now, which is not very nice, but... So the ultra late game is Broodlords in ZVZ, but a safer bet is Vipers.
Mineral field depleted.
All right. Well, that's a lot of lurkers. Okay, just run away. All right, back off. We're gonna get several extra Vipers. Consumes, remember, shift Q consume. We're gonna get some battery pack Evo chambers here as well. I'm getting 2 spires. I might need them. And we're refilling with Hydras.
Not possible. Supply limit reached.
Because I may have spent too much time. A bit, oh my god, they're still injecting. I don't know what... I think that queen had to come from all the way across the map.
Vespene geyser depleted. Mineral cluster expended.
So you can abduct or parasitic bomb Broodlords. It's not ideal.
Mineral field
Broodlords
exhausted.
really aren't that scary. You can tell he's about to attack this base over here, so we're gonna try to fight him there, but...
Tumor under attack.
Alright, blinding clouds on the lurkers.
Not enough energy.
We're gonna go do all this. Try to charge up another parasitic bomb here. They cost 150 energy, so...
Hive cluster under direct Vespene geyser depleted. Swarm forces under attack.
Oh, there was still a lurker. Stop. Blinding Cloud works even if you can't see it. But that is why Vipers are a superior choice to just more units. Vipers are a fucking crowbar, whereas more units are a sledgehammer. Sure, you could batter down the door, but prying it open is probably easier. The problem with Vipers, of course, is they are intensive to manage. They're not like high APM, but they will just die, as I'm sure many of you know. If you select all army. And their spell casting can backfire hard too. Like if you abduct the wrong unit, you could actually screw yourself. Blinding Cloud affects your own units. Parasitic Bomb is hyper expensive. You can only cast Parasitic Bomb. That's it. It costs 125 energy, which leaves, if you're at full energy, you can abduct once. But if you're not at completely full energy, you can't do anything else. So, being careful with your energy is the most important.
Structure must be placed on Vespene Geyser.
I'd say the majority of the time, you're going to get the most mileage out of Blinding Cloud. Abduct is very good, but is also very micro-intensive. Blinding Cloud is your best bet. Against most compositions. And the key fact is you can cast 2. Abduct, of course, removes lurkers from the ground, which is important to note. So they do have to reburrow them manually at that point. Isn't that definitely not gold? So if I had to guess, that guy was like low diamond. I mean, he named himself Bronze Barcode. I don't know if he was doing his own little challenge, but like, I think that's a more likely situation. Yeah, we stayed under 100 with some help from the hotkey conundrum, but I mean, maybe I'm giving him too much credit. He's played a lot of games. All right. How many games did he play last season? So, he's Terran. But he played like someone... Oh, he usually plays Terran. All right. He played like someone who had an understanding. Even if he looks everything like a Smurf. So, overall, he had the right composition. Just, the difference is Vipers. Vipers, like good Viper control, will bump you up 1,000 MMR. No. You think like Vipers are... No. Using 10 APM of Vipers makes up for 100 APM of Zerglings and Micro. Because to build the Vipers, consume up to full energy, and cast 3 Blinding Clouds is still a lot less APM than building 50 more supply of units. Like, it is the most efficient way. I don't think you can get away with playing Zerg without learning how to use the late game spellcasters anymore. Even pro Zergs still try to do it, and it's painful, right? Like Raynor, I know you can build 1,500 Zerglings in a game, but you could also, I know this sounds crazy, build Vipers more than once. Of course, Raynor can like individually split Zerglings to counter siege tanks, but that's not really the point. Cyril has less APM than almost every other pro Zerg you could name. Cyril actually has some of the least APM. He's essentially doing the low APM challenge, except as the best player of all time. He averages around 450 APM, which is a lot. But for comparison, Dark is almost always over 500. Solar and Raynor are both closer to 6, sometimes more. And they play styles that are very APM intensive, right? Like Ling Bane and just heavy unit styles, where Cyril just has the right units in the right place at the right time, so he doesn't have to do all those things. Which, pretty standard business. Like, why do people always think I'm smurfing with an average APM and low diamond of 250? I play fast but still suck? Because they also suck, and so do you. Because people are always looking for a scapegoat for something. So someone playing fast obviously doesn't always translate into playing well, but it at least looks like it on the outside. Like, if you did some micro and they noticed that, well then, like, I've talked about the iceberg. And I don't think that 250 APM, by the way, you have more APM than me, so, like, obviously, you're using it poorly, and it's not about how much you do, it's about how you use it, so, that's hurting you, but, also, believe it or not, people who are in Diamond 3 aren't very good judges of the game. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in Diamond 3, and if those players knew how to read, they'd be very upset. So, Diamond 3 is exactly where... So there are two options that collide. One is, I don't play enough, but I kind of understand the game, so I can still be kind of high level, which Diamond is the highest of the relatively of the lower leagues. Or the, I've played a lot of games, but I still don't understand shit. So I've brute forced my way here, and I refuse to acknowledge that, is the other side of it. And honestly, I find at Diamond 3, there's almost no middle ground. The middle ground players filter themselves up or down. But Diamond 3 is where both of those very different camps land. Yeah. I think you can brute force. I could pick any unit composition in the game. Any unit. And make it a main part of my unit composition and get to Diamond 3. Because I've drone rushed to Masters for reference, so it wouldn't even really require anything. But, like, you could get there with anything. But there are also, especially the players who really struggle and finally got there, well, it feels like all that experience turns into being an expert on the game. So this is a long way of saying, I guess take it as a compliment that players misjudge you as a smurf when clearly you are just compensating for something by slapping your keys on the keyboard and not actually learning anything. Because slow is smooth, and smooth is fast at the end of the day. Alright, so, first Overlord, Pervert Pillar, second Overlord, and third Overlord are just hanging out. More queens. He can do his fancy micro if he'd like. We're gonna come down, Brenda. Shh, be very quiet. Alright, creep spread. We're gonna go get the third. Honestly, I kind of go back and forth on which third base I like. Many players will take the triangle base. I think it's kind of dealer's choice. And how many drones? 31. Time for gas.
Birth successful.
So to be clear, for higher level builds, usually you go for a few more drones, like 35 to 36 before gas. But in this case, I'm just trying to tie it into that exact number. All right. Roach Warren, Evo Chamber. He's got a bunker back home.
Hail.
More
It's
queens.
about time.
1, 2, 3.
Glad
1,
I
2,
still
3.
enjoy. Any chance we get a monk or other Stormgate dev interview with the upcoming playtest phase?
I've decided to stop doing interviews until everyone, with as much as I like doing them, I've decided just in general, until the majority or all people can get their hands on a game one way or another, it's just free marketing. Which, I'm mostly gonna hold off doing, I think, unless most people can play it. Because, I mean, you could say a lot of things, but at some point, the game is the game.
Command unacceptable.
So, like, if the next playtest phase is really solid, and I think, I want to go, like, we definitely could, but I want to make sure there's something worth talking about. Because I'll be honest, while every playtest phase has gotten a lot better, like, there's been noticeable, huge improvements with each phase, the overall direction is still kind of unclear. Like, there's things like the early scout, like, you know what I love about StarCraft is when there's a Zergling in my base, scouting my entire base and annoying my workers at the start of the game. I love that. Oh, wait. I'll say the fact that that has remained a mainstay of Stormgate throughout the game so far, is concerning to me. Because of all the things, like, if you want to make it more casual accessible, what you've done is started stressing people out at literally the 15-second mark of the game. Which is not the most casually acceptable or casually accessible thing, in my opinion. So, I've made much feedback to this accord. I think I know what is casually accessible or not, as the person with maybe the most views and most response overall through the years on StarCraft 2 guides on what is relevant, what isn't. I'd like to think I have some experience in knowing what that is, even though I'm not a low-level player myself.
Mutation complete.
And it's a microcosm. It's like, it's literally a microcosm in this case. It's like, okay, so this is the thing
Mineral field
that people
exhausted.
hate. People hate this. Or it might be kind of interesting casting, but people hate this. They hate it. They don't dislike, they hate it. All right, you know what people love? Reapers poking their drones. But what if a Reaper showed up and it did half the damage, but at the beginning of the game? No spawning pool, no nothing. Wouldn't you love it? No?
Mineral field depleted.
Wouldn't it be great if you just sat there getting poked by the Reaper for a minute before you could even build a pool? Terrans would love it. Well, when they have to face other Terrans, it's not so fun. Do you like Reapers in TBT? Ah. What are your thoughts on Banelings in Stormgate? I think they're fine. It's just weirdly executed and inconsistent. I think the version of Banelings they have is fine, but it's unwieldy. It feels like a test for something that is more advanced. But I think having those splash damage sort of units, it needs to be... The most important part is visual clarity, which is something StarCraft 2 kind of struggles with, but it's mostly the fact that StarCraft 2's pathfinding is so fucking incredible. Like, units are so very good at following your orders. That's actually the problem.
Required. Drones under attack.
This is rude.
Newly birthed
We should
queen.
spread the creep out here, just in case he attacks up there during this. We're gonna get,
Swarm
a
forces
hive.
under
We'll work
attack.
towards hive. Let's take a look. Upgrades, 0. No, you can fix the... I don't know about fix the pathfinding is the right term. But, I think a little bit more attention to... So part of it, that's why StarCraft 2 feels so good, is units. Look at the hitboxes. Look at my units. I guess Hydras are a bad example. Zerglings are a good one. Marines, they will trip over each other, essentially. But they will clump up. Queens are also not a good example, but Marines are small units. And they can clump up easily. And that both allows them to have a lot of DPS density, but also be vulnerable to splash damage, right? And because units are pretty smart about attacking threats, they will run towards that splash damage unless you control them separately. Honestly, I think things like what Zero Space is doing, like Zero Space has been, at least to some extent, talking with the people who volunteer to develop Beyond All Reason, which is a volunteer project, by the way, that has some of the most advanced modern RTS mechanics, like drag formations, where you can just hold right-click and drag out a line, create a split. I think stuff like that allows you to have a next-generation engine. To have StarCraft... Like, if StarCraft 2 had the ability to drag formation your Marines, would we have Terrans complaining about Banelings still? Of course we would. But would it be as valid? Not as much. So, like, these things that I think were a kind of a design decision with SC2. Like, you could add them to SC2. Pretty much anything you could think of is possible in SC2 and has probably been done at least in some sort of custom game.
Field exhausted.
So, it, like, the engine is so good. But is a kind of a design... Because remember, StarCraft 2, that's why we didn't have auto-injects. That's why, like... Units will follow your orders and clump up like that. There's no, like, scatter formation or something. We need to pretend like I'm gonna attack across here before my Vipers come out. He's actually just gonna fight. I need my Vipers to have energy for Blinding Cloud. Otherwise, we're in trouble. Press a hotkey to scatter units, but I'm talking most about Age of Empires in this case. Oh yeah. Which has, like, circle formation. If he wants to fight the rocks, that's fine by me. Yeah, good idea.
No, not possible. Supply limit reached.
The Vipers. Full energy momentarily. Blinding Cloud on the tank. Parasitic Bomb, Blinding Cloud. And then Hydras. But you know what noobs actually like? Is macro. I don't necessarily agree with all these RTS games. And yes, so, I've played David Kim's new RTS, for those who haven't seen. Uncapped Games. I can't tell you any specifics, but I can tell you what they've already said, which is a focus on micro over macro. And they definitely do, to a significant extent. I don't know how it'll end up on, like, a finished product. And it's very... I'll tell you this right now. They'll be showing it off this summer, and you will be impressed. Like, the design of it is where my disagreements necessarily are, but it's very different than StarCraft 2 or Stormgate, which is a lot closer. It's almost a different direction. It's still RTS very much, and it is impressive, but it's a different thing altogether. It's much more of a real-time game, I guess, is where they seem to be going with it. All right. Lightning Cloud. Yeah. So I asked Dave and Kim about the Widow Mine.
Mineral cluster expended.
And I didn't expect a real response. And I didn't get one. But it was mostly... The ideas were good.
Exhausted.
It had some... it kind of didn't really fit exactly all the situations we wanted it to.
Expended.
But... Overall, the idea was good. Especially like referencing the spider mine from Brood War. Which... I don't necessarily disagree. I think it just ended up wearing too many hats. Which I think is mostly what he was trying to say. Without committing to it was a bad idea. Like if it was a mine instead of a missile platform, for example. No, I think the idea of like a cheap zone control unit to sandbag forces as they attack across makes sense. And fits like the theme of Mech Terran. But a missile platform that is also single target anti-air is a bit much. It ended up having to fill too many roles was the issue. So, we need to focus on this game and get it done before I rant some more. But yeah. I think his philosophy of, like, action-packed, high-risk, high-reward sort of RTS style will carry through into his new game. Including many of the things that people dislike about SC2, but... If you're less focused on keeping your workers alive and more focused on actually fighting, maybe they work better. We will see. I knew I didn't have Hydra speed. This is what happens when we don't focus on injects, guys.
Unacceptable. Not enough energy. Mineral field depleted. Mineral field exhausted. Swarm forces under attack. Hive cluster under support.
No more ranting! Think I can get... No. I will compliment. He made a lot of Marines and tanks. He might have watched a Terran guide. Oh, Bobby. Damn it, Bobby. But, I strayed from my principles on that one. Oh, the summary, though. So, Stormgate, I do hope they make some significant design decisions. Because, like I've said, if you're making a game where the competitive side appeals to a more casual audience than SC2, They failed so far. And not in, like, the exit, like, not in, there's not enough units in the late game, not in the maps. In the, very simply, the game can be decided at the 1 minute mark. And it feels really bad to start the game and already be behind. Like, it feels, for the reason that we added auto mining at the start of the game at SC2, except way worse, because you need to be sending your units out immediately. So that is not how you design a game for casuals, in my opinion. Or to be more accessible, rather. Just in general. Of course, there could be some things to alleviate this, but I think at least a 30 seconds of a build-up period, like the build-up period and just kind of focusing it is very important. Even in, like, Counter-Strike or in, like, other games, you still have a little bit of time, like before the start of the round or something. It shouldn't be you're sending units out the second the game starts. And the look of Stormgate, I don't love it. I said I didn't love it at the start. I still don't love it. It's well done, but I'm throwing my wife back under the bus. Silver's comment on it when I first showed her, like I was playing and she was watching over my shoulder. She's like, it looks like those mobile game ripoff ads for StarCraft. Or like, just those mobile game ads for the fake StarCraft and stuff. You know, Age of Empires has a lot of them too that show up on like YouTube. But and they're clearly just straight up ripoffs. Like, in this case, it's kind of an officially sanctioned, but there used to not be. Not until I believe Legacy of the Void, you didn't have the countdown or auto mining. That's where, like in Brood War, drone splitting and everything, you started with 6 workers, and they didn't mine automatically, which means if your computer sucked in Wings of Liberty, you were actually a few seconds behind on mining. Fun fact, that's why they added the countdown and the auto mining, is because people with potato computers were actually, like, behind on mining. The art design. Well, yeah, for Storm, like, I really like Zero Space. I don't love all the art on Zero Space, but the key to it is it feels like its own thing. It feels coherent, like, they're going for this sort of, like, Mass Effect, less realistic, more stylistic kind of thing. So I think between them, I like Zero Space's commitment to its style, which is, it feels less by committee, I guess. Like, Stormgate really feels like we brought in some focus groups, and this is what people were least offended by. And by offended, I mean, like, least negative about. But that's probably somewhat unfair, but... Is Winter gonna play Terran? We played Terran for like the last 3-4 days of this. Alright, yeah, we'll focus. Focus group like being harassed. I'm not saying that literally happened. Alright. Nobody ever went with a more Carbot style? Oh, well. They added it to Brood War. You could play the Carbot skins on Brood War. Actually, it makes Brood War way more readable to me. Because even the remastered is like, wow, there's like 20 pixels now instead of 4. Like, but I don't think any actual players play with it. It's just like the Carbot mod, which was a huge deal in SC2. You can actually play on a map made by Carbot with Carbot units and a skid and everything. And it's an amazing and a huge undertaking, and they got it done, and it's in the game, and everybody played it once, and it's like, now it hurts my eyes because playing a 3D game in 2D is not working. All right, focus. Sorry, you got me ranting again. Can't believe we've done this. We're getting the queens. No gas. Until 30 drones. This Overlord. Gonna move to the center of the map. We are 26. 2 more queens here. These are scouting lings into the main. He's got an Evo chamber. Does he have gas? Yes, but he just started mining it. No touching. So we're going to do big +1 roach timing. Next, Overlord. Alright, 30 drones there. Inject. Now this is going on hotkey 2. My other queen. And they'll be kind of creep spread queens. Now we get the gases at 30 drones. As well as 3 more Overlords. These are just going to go near my base. So if I have to pull them back, I can.
Insufficient.
Gonna build 1 more queen at the natural.
Required.
Inject. Get that gas. Start some creeps. Make sure I have them to the main as well. And then we got 44 drones. We're getting the gases at the natural and then the roach warren. And so I'm building 2 Evo chambers. I'm only going to use 1. This is just to wall off. I'm going to scout here. Looks like he's got a similar build. So he doesn't, important to note, he doesn't have Zergling speed on the way. They're going to start that lair. So what I can do here is go up to about 50 drones and get a 3rd. And still I should be able to get away with it without being too far behind here. Because he doesn't have any way to really attack on the ground. So gonna get, yeah, we're at 52 drones, which is, that's enough. That's enough. We're gonna just queue up some injects. I don't need more creep tumors here. Just gonna make sure I always have that larva. Larva management. All right? Like doing your taxes. It's important. And unless you're already rich, it's the make or break situation. Okay, if you don't manage your larva, you're gonna get in big trouble. Here we are. Now get some roaches. Roach speed. There we are. And +1 carapace is kind of a take it or leave it. It's 150 gas, which is 6 more roaches. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it can be the difference. In this case, because he's not going for a 3rd, I am going to get the +1 carapace. But we're still building roaches here. And we're spawning more Overlords as well. So the reason we're not like building more drones right now is because he's on 2 base. So I already have full 2 base saturation and a 3rd base done, which means I'm already ahead. I don't want to get, I can get more ahead, but I run the risk here of dying, which is bad for your health. So he has, ooh, we see those gases, and he hasn't moved out. I'm just gonna go ahead and build a Hydra Den because mutas are possible. There's another roach warren. You can never have too many. All right. You can, actually. That's not true. Like, that was inaccurate. I'm gonna take many of these rounds. Take 12 or so. Doesn't really matter exactly. Just at least one line of drones there. Gonna get injects, overlords. Now these are corner lords. Alright, they hide in the corner and provide supply. That's it. That's their whole purpose in life. That's it. Nothing else. Gonna get these injects. Gonna queue up the Hydra upgrades. And because, remember, he's on 2 bases, or now taking a 3rd, I'm just ahead on economy. So what we're gonna do...
Gas.
Where did the roaches go? He's got burrow move.
Rotation complete.
We're gonna get a spore crawler in each mineral line.
Acceptable.
Okay, he doesn't have burrow move. You'd actually be able to see. Run away! Ah! You can actually see the
Exhausted.
but it's a big risk. So I'm gonna put an overseer just right here. I'm gonna siege it up. Oversight mode is what it's called.
Vespine.
Getting to 66 or so drones. Oh my. Ooh.
Evolution complete.
Inject. Inject. Gonna get an infestation pit. 60 something drones, infestation pit. As we're getting close to 200 supply, and I'm not sure I'm gonna attack, might as well work towards that hive. Alright, so I gotta decide roaches or hydras. Well, after I get one more line of drones here. Just rallied over that. So, let's get the hydras.
More minerals required.
And I have +2 attack finishing. We have a hive started. We're nearly maxed out. So we're gonna stack those injects. Queue them up is more accurate, not stack. The terminology is actually kind of important and relevant there.
Swarm has sequences.
And, alright, we're gonna head out.
No, not possible. Supply limit reached.
Carapace upgrade. He does have burrow move, you can tell by the way it is. But, does he have +2 attack? He has +0 attack, which is not much. So that should be, we're gonna right click once, A-click, and now we're in the fight. We're just building behind this. More roaches. They build faster, they're cheaper. Right click, A-click. Select all army. Hive is almost done. So the hive is if he had lurkers, or just like an entrenched position, we probably go vipers. He doesn't, we also go vipers. Just generally vipers. That's the situation. We beat him. Kept it under 100. But just generally focused on getting enough drones to be a little ahead, not a lot ahead. As you see there. So, I think this is a pretty decent graph for showing you my thought process on building workers when he's expanding. I couldn't ask for too much of a better explanation there of why I stopped at a certain point, and then when he expanded again, I added more. So, you don't have to be too far ahead. Just maintain that lead. At a higher level, I'd be happy with 3 more in this matchup. But having 20 more, well, that's just fine as well. Are we hitting Terran? We try to. They usually slither away. Have I played a single Protoss? Where are the Protoss? Why is it mirror matchups? Every night it's been mirror matchups. I played Protoss, it's all Protoss. This is some serious confirmation bias. No, I was playing all Protoss and gold as well. We played, in this case, 6 ZVZs. 4 ZVT. Though a couple left, and 0 Protoss. They got to plat because of the gun. Well, that Protoss, that Terran in Platinum had a solid marine tank build going on. It's so boring, yet so effective. Ask and ye shall receive. A wild Protoss has appeared. Alright, so, against Protoss, it's gonna be the same. We're trying to keep it pretty consistent. My second Overlord, though, is gonna hang out at my natural. Because... cannons. It's not necessarily a good strategy. Clickbait titles about matches against Dark notwithstanding. But it, if unscouted and unprepared for, is still dangerous. Alright. Sending down. If I have to go to... if they block your base, just take the third. If you send down... they do have to scout very early in order to actually block the base. So, I wouldn't worry too much. Like, it's just kind of a... you just have to deal with it. It's not worth sending down. If they put a pylon where you're supposed to build your hatchery... that's not necessarily for a cannon rush, to be clear. Especially if it's before you would build a hatch. Because they can't even have a forge at that point, so... they do have to spend time building it at home. Alright. He's got a cyber core on the way. So this isn't any shenanigans. And now, against Protoss, we're gonna go take that third. Okay. Gonna put ourselves out there. Take that third before the pool finishes. Because he has 2 options. Oh, he actually wants cyber core. This is important to note. He went for cyber core and his nexus is quite late. So, we're gonna go back over here to the pervert pillar. I'm getting 4 Zerglings. Getting a second queen.
Insufficient.
He's chrono boosting, but that's neither here nor there. This Overlord, gonna hang out, put it right over there. This one can give me a little extra potential vision against things like oracles. Probe, hello. It's an adept. Alright. So we're gonna get more queens is the answer here.
Queen birth successful. Newly birthed queen ready.
I'm actually going to keep the Zerglings in the main to chase down the Adept Shade, because queens are not the most agile creatures for chasing adepts. So, hey, don't let them lie to you. So, does he have another adept? Indeed he does.
Not enough energy.
Gonna get a queen over here. Get some creep.
Birth successful. Hive cluster under direct assault.
3 more overlords here. Oh, that's a bit of a mistake. I didn't need them. I'm actually gonna cancel one in order to build a few more drones. He has another adept. Okay. So, let's get these gases. Let's get some creep at the third. This means, well, it depends. He could have a Stargate. It could be Adept Glaives.
Successful.
It's still very unclear at this point, but we're gonna want to wall off with that Roachborn again. That part is quite important. And 4 minutes, spores against Protoss. No spore 20 because the Oracle can come in quicker than that. Is the problem. Getting that gas. And then the Roach Warren is a little bit after 4 minutes usually. This is so I have something potentially against Adepts. Another reason to get these spore crawlers is because DTs. So I'm getting that lair first. That's my first choice. I haven't seen anything more here, though I think he's trying to mine through the mineral wall. We're gonna go up to 50 drones is pushing it. Well, at least it was my Evo chamber that didn't build. And not my Roach one, which is very important. He may have a third here. Though that probe is incredibly suspicious. You see that probe? Like, why are you there, sir? What are you up to?
Overlords.
Supply block.
And unacceptable.
There it is.
Creep tumor under attack.
I do have transfuse here, so we can keep it alive. Annoying, but we would have had an Overseer coming out momentarily as well. I like to hotkey the Overseer with the Queens because they're always assigned to cleanup duty. And because we know it's DTs, I'm building 16 more drones, going up to 60-something. I'm not saying a specific number because 60-something is fine. We're gonna now go back to the rotation, which is inject. So I want to get one creep tumor over there. Inject.
Not enough energy.
Overlords, of which I already built a few. And then, as those while we're waiting for the OVs to finish, we can get a bit of creep spread.
Must be morphed.
And then roaches, which we're gonna hotkey in with my other roaches. I am gonna get a Hydra Den, but we're only gonna build that if this roach timing doesn't end up being a thing.
Mineral cluster.
Transfer these down. I'm gonna get one more round of drones. We're gonna go up to 70. This is because I'm about to spend a lot of drones. I'm building gas geysers. I'm building a spine. Now we're down to 70. Gonna get another Overseer and put it in oversight mode over my new base here. He's got a warp prism. Important to note. We're gonna bring this back. We may need some more roaches there as well. Archons. We're gonna use the Queens to target the warp prism here. And get infestation pit back to the rotation. Inject. We're gonna use those Queens. Inject that base. Nothing here, unfortunately. Get to gas. Hotkey in this base. Gonna get the Hydra upgrades. I already got the infestation pit. And now, Hydras. We still have money? Drones. And rally them over here. And an Overlord. We got a little time for creep. Bring the Queens in as well. That's a lot of Archons involved. So we got to be careful that the Hydras are in the right spot here. I need more Overlords. So we're going to build those roaches as well. Get the +2 attack. Get the hive started. And let him attack in if he'd like. If the Archons are in front, we can just target them like that. Back off. And now we just start transfusing here. Let the Queens tank the damage. That's all I'm focusing on. You shouldn't have to target fire. The idea is the Queens, if they tank enough Archons, the rest of the army is going to get the damage done. That's why the Queens are so important. Alright, they're always important. How dare you not respect them? Or without either you build Queens and win, or die without them. That's how Zerg works. All right.
Command unacceptable.
So Hive is on the way. With it, we'll bring a lurker den. Get this gas. Gonna build a couple spore crawlers there. And build a round of roaches. I have enough hydras here. And I still have 1,000 minerals.
Under attack.
Macro hatches. I have at least 70 drones, macro hatches. Alright, let's head out. Hive is done. So I'm gonna try to figure out whether I can attack or not. We're gonna build Vipers. I'm building Vipers right now. I've already got them pre-hotkeyed. Pre-hotkeyed! So that way, they better not be flying into the fight. Alright? Come on.
Mineral cluster expended.
So very important, I'm putting this Overseer in oversight mode, so I don't fly in and let him build DTs. Because that's a classic tactic there. But what upgrades does he have? 0-0, which is not very good. I'm actually going to hold position right now, so my units don't go chasing. They will attack the shield batteries if they're nearby.
Exhausted.
We're going to build another round of Hydras. And there you go. But I don't want to see those Vipers flying in and just dying for the sake of it. We stayed underneath the Protoss. 174 APM of DT rushing. That's approaching my Protoss APM in Masters. I'm usually around 200 to 230 or so. But I'm not sure he was using it all very efficiently in this case. But we do end up so a bit greedy to hold off gas for that long. We can do some like speed builds that lend themselves better to teching up, but Zerg is all about learning how to get punched in the face and then punching back harder. There is no one-size-fits-all solution to every build. There are queens though, which will do well enough. Like it's Batman again joining us. Why doesn't Dark seem to get punched? What are you talking about? Almost every single game he gets punched in the face. He might be punching at the same time. But if you just watch the video today, most of it is him getting punched, but usually with nothing behind it because he's done so much damage. Like against Hero. You still have to survive the attack. That is a big struggle for a lot of players, is outright surviving even one major attack. Against a near maxed out Protoss or Terran. That's where Vipers come in.
Not enough minerals.
Alright, so this is a greedier build. I should have been doing 17-17, not 18-18. I zoned out when I was describing our Lord and Savior. But first Overlord, going towards the natural. Second Overlord, towards the third. Either way, as long as you're covering all the literal bases and the attack paths of the Zerglings, which are this area or here. So he could try to sneak out, but if you cover here and here, you've got it effectively all covered. So that is where the overlords will want to be by the end of things. Making a set of lings, those will scout in. And his hatch is a little later, but I think might be a pull and then a hatch, but either way, the fact that he has a hatch at all is enough here. I send the third overlord out towards the watchtower. This overlord on this side got one out towards the front so it doesn't get poked away easily. I'm queuing up some more queens and a fourth overlord here, and that one is just kind of the outside of my base. I'll be third. Whoa!
Birthed queen.
All right.
Queen birth successful.
Okay. I see you. Ah. Well. He may have gone 3 hatch before pool. Which... Well... Oh, he's rushing a roach worm behind. So the thing about 3 hatcheries is... If you're not mining minerals, you don't get anything from them. Alright, we've got 30 drones. Usually 330 at the latest on the gas, I think, is the best indicator for the build, but... He has spent a lot, even though he had a roach worm and an evo chamber. I'm looking at all the things that he built that are decidedly not drones. Alright, like... Evo chamber, not a drone. Roach Warren, not a drone. Well, he had drones that he chose to morph them into those buildings. So that is why I think a lot of players will be like, well, I built it and I had it. That's a drone. That's not mining for however long you've had that building or since you started it. So, but that's back to the larva management there. So we're going to go to 44. Just full 2 base. We're gonna get some more injects. I don't care too much about creep spread outside a bit of my own bases. Actually, no. Lair first for speed. So we're going to have enough. And I'll just get another stack of drones there. +1 attack. Just get a couple more creep tumors. Again, it's just for a little extra vision and being able to move around to defend. I'm not actively not creep spreading, but it's not a priority. Both, like, for APM and efficiency-wise, like, it isn't what I should be spending my time on. But it's not like, it's not a strategic choice so much as a priorities thing. Keep those overlords tucked in. We need some more of them. Again, the corner lords here. I have 50 drones, so we can move a few over to the third base. We're going to rally all the drones to the third. We got speed on the way. I'm going to turn this into an overseer. I should add another overlord a little closer, but I don't want to move the ones I currently have. The overseer will get rallied through there. Inject. Do I need overlords? No. Roaches. 50 drone roaches. That's where we're at right now. We're just building up. I'm gonna wait till I see what he's doing before I worry about much more. Back to the rotation. Inject. Queue those up. Overlords. Upgrades. Production. And now we'll take a look. And I have 11 larvae saved up. I can make a decision on what to build based on what I see. He has a Hydra Den. All done.
Mutation complete.
Let's take a look out here. Does he have a bunch of roaches? He has lings, roaches. I'm just gonna hold down the roach key and attack. Why? He has a bunch of tech. And I should have had more economy for quite a bit. So as we send those roaches across, injecting, build a couple more obies. Gonna get Hydra range and +2 attack. And now, here we are. Right click, A click. Get on top of those roaches as soon as possible. Right click, A click. I can target the hatchery here. And then right click.
Swarm forces.
I bet you know what's coming next. A click. So he went a bunch of different directions with his build. Like he took 3 bases. He got the Evo chamber, he got the Roach Warren, but these all happened a lot, like, all at the same time. So he's going, if you go a bunch of different directions, you get nowhere fast. That's the key point. And that's why with less APM, we were able to make more units and decisively win. As you see there, that's the result of the kind of build paralysis. The worker count. It does take, I think ZVZ takes the most experience. In other matchups, they're just building workers. Protoss and Terran, the best move is to just build workers. Whereas with Zerg, either it's a drone or it's not. Which is, it requires a conscious decision every time, as opposed to just building SCVs, etc., etc. So that is why it does take some time, I think. But making that decision is always the hardest part. That was me. I just lost to you. What the? You gotta make a decision. Are you going 3 bases or are you going roaches? We were all gold on this blessed day. Why you in plat? Because diamond is hard. But you can't afford an Evo chamber and a Roach Warren and a 3rd. Consult that last replay for a build that can work for you. But other side. All right. So apparently, mirror matchups, the blessing and curse. I think people need the most help generally in mirror matchups because nobody likes them. Well, most people don't. But at the same time, it's also the most technical. All the races, though, at differing points of the game. So, ZVZ is all about recognizing first. Well, the first thing is not dying. You need to not die. And that's overlord placement. Where you put your overlords, why you put your overlords, and paying attention to the minimap are the biggest steps to not dying, besides doing it all in yourself. Past that, it's when can I build drones? When do I need units? And usually you reach these kind of benchmarks, which are around 40 drones, which is 2 base saturation, and then again around 50 to 60, which is usually your 3 base. Those are very, very rough numbers, but those are the kind of break points. If you're consistently injecting and producing, those are the break points that you need to focus on in order to decide, am I building units now? Because just building units for the sake of units is money wasted. And we don't waste money here. Because it's an investment, is what it is, when you like and subscribe. Was that a second drone? I don't think so, but... Queen. 4 Zergling. And now, another queen. Okay, we've seen enough. He's got 2 bases. He's got a queen on the way. That's all I need to know. Sending the Zerglings out for a scout. This Overlord gonna hang out over here. This Overlord over here so I can see the third. It needs to be in vision range of where a third base would be, but not so close that it just gets picked off. Ah! Gonna build 1 extra queen at each base. This is a bit convenient. Got a couple OVs on the way here. We're gonna scout with the lings. That's all they're doing. Gonna take a look around and get these gas gassers here as well. So we had gas. Is he upgrading speed? Yes, you can tell by the seizure. He's actually not mining any more gas, so just circling speed here. So that means I'm gonna focus on getting my wall off a little quicker than I usually would. Like usually I'd wait till about 4 minutes, but I want to get that started right around now. We'll get the second Evo chamber momentarily, but because there is a chance he just does mass circuit. I don't think it's likely, but it's on the table here.
Insufficient energy.
I'm gonna get 3 in each gas. We have 40 drones. Yes. There we go. We got the queens holding the wall. If it's a big all-in, I can build a second Evo chamber, and you can do 1 queen wall. Like this. And then build some roaches behind. Get the lair started.
Must spawn more overlords.
Does he have a third? He took the other third and I didn't account for it. But he built so many lings, that means he has less drones than me. That's just a science math fact. Which math is a science, but for nerds, as you know. Do some injects. Make sure we get to at least those 44 drones. You know what? We'll just do a full stack there. Because I'm going to want the third. Few more OVs. Yeah, you got to kind of freestyle a bit at this point. Like, he can't... He's done something odd, so I need to adapt a bit, as Zerg do. Gonna build some roaches now. I've got 48 drones, so... Getting speed. Let's get the +1 carapace too. So this Overlord actually lost some value because he didn't take that base at all. So we're just gonna send it in as an Overseer. As my lair finishes, bring another OV up there. And now move these OVs, you see on the mini-map. In order to just... around, you know. Take a look around. So, does he have a lair? No. It's not done. Which means he can't have mutas. More science math there. He has 2 lairs. That does not help you finish the lair faster. That's more science math. So now, we just build a bunch of roaches, and with +1 in speed, that should be a deadly combination. Because my advantage is roach speed. It's possibly +1 attack, but it's roach speed for sure. Because there's no way he can also have roach speed because he doesn't have a lair. Unless he built a lair at his third and it's already done, which would be surprising. But... and also that he spent 300 gas on lairs, in which case I'm probably fine as well. So, can get that +2. I'm not caring about +1 carapace. That's secondary. Right click, A click. And just more roaches. we're gonna go send it in directly, because if he has no roaches now, we can probably get in there before he... If we can cut off the production, like in between the bases, that's the ideal scenario. Right-click, A-click. So that way, you can bully their roaches at this time. Gonna inject. Another round of roaches until I he stayed there. But yeah, right click, A click. So roaches are unwieldy creatures. You want to try to use any advantage you have with them. But if you have, like, if you have to think twice, if you clearly don't have more roaches, we're not microing out of that. Alright? That's not what we're doing. If it's close, we're not bothering. But if there's a clear advantage, right click, A click. Feels like bullying? Yeah, those 2 extra actions. But that's the key point. If the roach count is similar, I'm just going to go back. I'm going to build some more drones, get more upgrades. I'm going to look for advantages somewhere else. Volition. Well, I just crushed you and took your ladder points. Are you saying you're not going to uninstall the game and quit forever and just complain in Twitch chat? Are you sure? Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, what is with the mirror matchups, though? I don't understand. Like, I played only well, once again, it's probably a good thing. But at the same time... This is like... It's like 8 out of 12 so far. Okay. I'm going to do... We're gonna spice things up. We're gonna do a Zergling speed build.
Your dedication.
Which is naturally higher APM. But there's a reason. It's kind of the default. And it's because Zergling speed has a lot more potential to give you map control. Or at least compete for it. And if you don't, like at the highest level, and you don't have Zergling speed early, they just take the map, they get more economy, and they crush you with it. Because you can't move out until you have a critical mass of roaches or something. So that's why Zergling speed. The thing is, your average Meta League player can't take advantage of those Zerglings to the extent that they're going to capitalize on. And that is why these roach builds are so successful. Is even though my opponents are going for Zergling speed, unless you're working on the pretty thin margins of economy that you get with that map control, it's just wasted. So my focus here is not going to be killing him, but instead deciding whether or not I need to build lings, and then from there, figuring out the best timing to go roaches. Because we're still going roaches at the end of the day. We will go banelings, if necessary. In fact, likely we'll get a baneling nest either way. But, because if you go speedlings and they go speedlings, you don't want to be left without banes. Because that's just how it is. But
Mineral quantity
he's already got a third base on the way. Alright. We're going to do a Ling Bane all-in. I'm going to go to about 24 drones. We're going to get drone number 25 momentarily here. I'm just going to turn this into a Bane nest. 2 in gas. He's got lings coming out. Let's run away. Get another overlord here. So he's building Lings, and he has a third, which means he doesn't have a better economy. He just has some more larvae, which means Banelings will be my saving grace. The queen is attacking the rocks because she's not very smart. We're gonna use Mineral Walk here to body block out for the queen, like that. There you go. We're gonna switch out the queens. We'll get some Banelings, which might distract him. Or, you know, they finish and then I have Banes. We'll keep building queens as well. Very important to keep injecting, especially since I'm so low on the queen count. We're gonna add a few more Banelings here. The Zerglings with speed, even if you have equal numbers, will win because they're able to capitalize on an advantage quicker. That speed upgrade is a DPS upgrade. Gonna use the fancy morphing there. We're gonna put Banelings on a different key and just use them as like a shield here. So the key, we had the Overlords in the right spot. Saw the Zerglings, knew I needed them. I mean, we're gonna get Banelings other way. So that was just straight up 3-hatch into Mass Zergling, which is certainly an original strat. Well, not original, but it's about as bare bones as you get. We didn't quite stay at 100, but still. We made it. Can we get... It's been 9 ZVZs out of 15. A Terran with the starter portrait. Always sus. At least not a barcode. I think we're gonna go for 20 games. So 5 more games tonight. Because I am losing a bit of focus. It's been about... Oh, it's been 3 hours. Wow. Honestly, felt a little shorter than that, but it's probably a good thing. But I find that after like 2.5, 3 hours, it starts to slide pretty quick, especially if I don't take a break. But even if you take a break, you only have so many productive... Like, I could play StarCraft probably 6 hours a day. I could play more than that, but past that point, I'm not really learning anything. I'm just kind of playing. Maybe you get better muscle memory or something, but when it comes to focusing on commentary and being productive with it, 3 hours, maybe? I mean, Cyril's streams rarely went over 3 hours, so... he's a bit of a higher level player, but...
Mineral quantity insufficient.
That's why I'm... Okay. No, I'll talk about it after. Let's focus on the build. I want to have a good ZVT game. We got a good opportunity here. So first Overlord is going to go out, and then it's going to end up on this little pervert pillar. Second Ovi was specifically looking for Proxy Rex, and then it's just going to hang out in front. Because Terrans have so many ways to kill your Overlords early. Actually, it's going to be... I don't even think this is a... I think this is a fake pervert pillar. I'm pretty sure, but... just put it in the center where I can see both sides of these ramps. Okay, I'll put it on his side. It's kind of... It doesn't have to be exactly the same every game, but... should at least have a reason why you're doing certain things. Alright, and I'm taking my third. I'm actually going to take the triangle third.
Not enough.
Is this man? Oh, bunker. So he's building a bunker. He shouldn't be scared. He scouted in with an SCV. Now, it's not my problem, but because if he scouted with the SCV, he saw I had no gas. So most he has to deal with is slow Zerglings, which I guess I could build a lot of them, as we just saw, but it's not a real threat. They're a lesser type of Zerg. So more overlords on the way. Gonna make another queen. Put this on the 2 key, the queen key, whatever it might be for you. That one here, judge. Gonna get another over here. Put that. This is just looking around. He does end up going battle cruisers. Oh, that's an engineering bit. That doesn't mean he's going upgrades. Well, I'm gonna start the creep. Have one high ground and low.
Successful.
We're gonna keep building queens.
Newly birthed queen.
Build a queen over here. So I don't know for sure he expanded. He could just be building up a bunch of marines. We can see if he's upgraded the Edgy Bay. He is not. It's not freaking out. We're getting all 6 gases here, though. Or 4 gases, sorry, not 6. Because I got a little greedier, because he clearly was playing defensive. But now I do want that kind of production explosion.
Queen birth successful.
Get 1 spore. I'm gonna put these Zerglings at this watchtower over here. Get these gases. Gonna get a spore.
Must spawn
More drones.
overlords.
I'm just gonna send 1 over here. And now, Roach 1, Evo Chamber. Not necessarily need to wall off, just trying to keep it consistent, because that's also what we're doing against Zerg and Protoss. And it's not necessarily a bad idea. It's just a little more vulnerable against Terran. Get that lair started. More Ovies. And he hasn't done anything for 5 minutes. Second spore. Because you know how they are about the battle cruisers.
Command unacceptable.
Gonna build another queen. We're gonna go to about 60 droughts,
Quantity
which is definitely pushing it, by the way.
not
But
enough minerals.
the spores is kind of zoning around the mineral line, not at the back, because battle cruisers don't respect back or front.
Energy.
And then we're gonna turn this into an overseer as soon as my lair is done.
Not enough energy.
1 more stack of drones. But we're not going over that 60 mark right now. I'm gonna start to build some roaches. Gonna send this guy in. Honestly, we're gonna get a 4th base. I have 60 drones. Carapace. And I feel like a blind spire is worth it.
Insufficient energy.
We're gonna build a few more overlords. I've got a lot of injects. Alright, so it looks, well, I think a blind spire's fine. We're gonna work our way. So you see all those siege tanks? Hi. Now. Like, the spire is not for mutas. It was for corruptors. But we're working towards Hive now. So that way he doesn't build a 2-base death ball and just kill me with it. Because I can't break him. I'm not going to break him.
More minerals required.
He spent hundreds of minerals on turrets. He's got half a dozen siege tanks at least sitting behind those lines. We're gonna go to 70-something drones. And Vipers with Roach Ravager.
Mutation complete.
What do you got over there? He's got Liberators.
Mineral quantity.
75 drones.
Forces under attack.
I'm just gonna get a spore, pretending a liberator will attack me there. We're going to get a Hydra Den. Alright, injects. We're gonna have the creep queens help out on all the bases with injects. Another stack of drones here.
Sequences
I need
not enough.
corner lords, the overlords that will now just sit in the back, because that's what they do.
More minerals required.
Get another base. Creep. Hive should be done momentarily. Gonna queue up the Hydra upgrades. But first priority, I'm gonna get 3 Vipers. There you go, 3 Vipers. We're gonna get a Lurker Den, we're not necessarily gonna use it.
Acceptable.
Get that Carapace upgrade. And the rest of the money I'm sinking into Hydras.
Quantity insufficient.
Need one more Ovi.
Minerals.
We should get a couple Overseers because there might be Widowmons. Gonna high feed this in. We're gonna just spread the love around here with the consume. We'll expand both ways.
Command unacceptable.
Alright, a couple more OVs just in case, because I'm going to be bringing a few Overseers. Inject. With all the energy. Just hold it down there. There's the Lurker Den. Gonna set this base up with gas geysers. Get the corner.
Sequences spun. Swarm mutated.
I'm building one more round of roaches. So behind this, I'm gonna get a second spire
Acceptable.
and start a greater spire as well. Because if it goes horribly wrong, we're gonna need brood lords. That's the follow up here. But for now, gonna make sure the drones are rallied there. So I'm assuming we're gonna send in a couple roaches just to see. I'm assuming he has a bunch of siege tanks and liberators, which I can dismantle with the Vipers, but can be troublesome. Some Thors. We can use Blinding Cloud here. Actually, let's abduct the Thors. There you go. You gotta be careful, because the Thors will automatically target. You can abduct the Liberator, abduct the other Thor, and then Blinding Cloud, and then run away. Right-click, A-click. Thors are a pretty big target. Almost as large as your mother, so they're easy enough to click on. We're gonna go back and consume here. And now we can get, I'm gonna get 2 stacks of Corruptors. That's what I just added in there. And we can do the upgrades here. So that way I can go Brood Lords. Probably 8 or 10 Brood Lords. So that way I still have Corruptors for the Liberators. So here's how you cheat. Building a bunch of spores. Maybe I need some anti-air. No. We can free up that supply. I'm making brood lords. Ta-da! Supply limits are nothing. Well, they're logistical hurdles, but... So we have 63 larvae. Let's make sure we have all these bases injected. Get Carapace level 3, melee. And you can put the Broodlords on a different key. You probably should. I should get Burrow and Overlord speed as well, but...
Mineral field
The
exhausted.
most important thing is just making sure the Broodlords are in the right spot during the fight here. We're gonna click on that siege tank with the Brood Planetaries. Ooh. Interesting. We do still have the Hydras. Like I said, all roads lead to the battle cruisers. I'm using Blinding Clouds on the Thors. We can use Blinding Cloud. Wait, can I hit all 3 planetaries with one? I think so. If they're in melee range, they can still attack. Which, in this case, the Broodlings. So the 3 Vipers make it a lot easier. I built 3. It felt like 2 wasn't enough. It felt like 3 was the number. 4, right out. Okay, that's too many. But 3, okay. 5k on minerals. How much supply did I have with 5k on minerals? Pray tell. Maybe just pointing it out. Vipers don't unlock until you get Master League. Common misconception. Vipers unlock Master League. So, pretty solid. I actually think that is a good one to actually wrap it up on tonight. I know there's going to be more. If you haven't yet, I have my basic Terran guide on YouTube. This was me. I haven't yet figured out what I'm going to do for the Zerg guide, because this isn't the basic Zerg. This is more mid-level. Because it's very hard to explain basic Zerg without kind of getting complicated. One Terran, like I said, the basic Terran guide on the YouTubes. I will be doing more and more, so never miss out. Always tune in. I mean, obviously it's popular. I like that people like watching. I feel a little bad about bullying the Meta League players, but the entire challenge for me, and it is a challenge, to have lower APM than my Platinum League Terran opponents as Zerg, for example. Like, that is my kind of mini challenge on top of, you know, actually playing the game correctly is a strong term, but in a way that facilitates improvement when explaining it. Just missed half of this. Are you posting it to YouTube? What if I told you it's all posted to YouTube every time? Because we're currently live streaming to the second channel. Like and subscribe, by the way. Thank you for watching. One more. Well, if we get 200 likes on this video, then we'll do some more tomorrow. And we'll do 10 games as each race. How about that? Instead of 20 as Zerg, we'll do 10 as each. That's the plan. That's not the end of the stream, by the way. In case it seemed like a dramatic conclusion. But instead, we're gonna go... I'm addicted to Manor Lords. And Brood Lords. Let's still be all mirror matchups. I have no control over this. But make sure to check out the YouTubes. Do I have to like the live stream every day on YouTube? It's crazy. Yeah. So I'm trying to break Manor Lords, much like I broke the supply, and actually make the game lag because it's so well optimized. So far, I've made over 1,000 people. Well, not personally. That would be a lot of effort, but... So if you're on YouTube, I'm gonna restart the stream momentarily. Otherwise, you can check out the VOD right now. Otherwise, don't go anywhere or else.
cornerstone.